Marvel made all the money when they released Black Panther in 2018. The trip to Wakanda was an instant pop culture sensation, but quickly fell away. Marvel has missed a ton of opportunities by not moving forward with so much as an animated series about Wakanda. Luckily for you, CBR has picked up a program from the Wakandan Public Broadcasting Service, WPBS, that goes over their long history. Take a look. Wakanda's history began a long time ago when it was the home of mythical creatures known as the Originators. These beings, known for their large animalistic forms. To the ancient humans of the time, they would have seemed like giant serpents, arachnids, insects, and strange humanoid hybrids. For a small period of time, they supposedly lived in peace with the humans who would take pilgrimages there. When conflict came between the Originators, the people called upon the gods of Wakanda to help get rid of them. These became the gods that the Wakandans themselves worship today, including Bast, the god of the Black Panther. Legend has it that during this time, the very first Black Panther rose to power. He is said to have been a part of a group not unlike the Avengers of today. The legends say they included Odin, father of Thor, the first Iron Fist, Fan Fei, Agamotto, the ancient sorcerer supreme, and the Ghost Rider of old, who rode a flaming mammoth. Together they battled forces that sought to destroy the people of Earth before their histories would even truly begin. Many years later, Wakandans were experimenting with ways to manipulate storm clouds and cosmic energy. These experiments were said to accidentally call down something from the heavens that would change Wakanda forever. From deep within the galaxy, a meteor filled with alien substances unlike any other on Earth plummeted towards Wakanda. It crashed into the land, altering it forever. The meteor enriched Wakanda with a dense metal that absorbed sound and energy called Vibranium. The Wakandans immediately began turning the Vibranium into powerful weapons. This led to many conflicts, with no true command structure to deal with it. That is when a man named Bashenga called upon Bast to help him become the Black Panther, starting a line of Black Panthers that would stretch all the way to T'Challa, ruling Wakanda for centuries. As the Vibranium began to further affect the people of Wakanda, the land began to change as well. White gorillas and heart-shaped herbs could now be found in the nation that held supernatural powers. The Black Panthers used those herbs to give themselves special powers, while a tribe of mountain people ate from the white gorillas to give themselves incredible strength. The MCU timeline tells a different story. It is inspired by these events, but changes them around ever so slightly. In this continuity, the meteor landed in Wakanda 2.5 million years ago. Bashenga was guided by a vision from Bast to take the heart-shaped herb, which made him the first Black Panther. 4 tribes pledged themselves to him and his amazing powers, while the 5th, the Jabari, went their own way. Centuries passed as Wakandans continued to grow and flourish thanks to the Vibranium. They ended up forming 5 tribes. The Golden Tribe, also called the Panther Tribe, is the ruling order of Wakanda. They worship the god Bast and follow the Black Panther. Then there's the Border Tribe, who protects Wakanda from invaders using battle rhinos in their Lesotho blankets. To the outside world, they appear as simple farmers and herders, but they are anything but. Then there is the Mining Tribe, which is responsible for cultivating the Vibranium. In the film, they are seen wearing ornate red clothing. Then there's the Merchant Tribe that runs all of the trade across Wakanda. They can be seen wearing dark purplish clothes in the film. We also have the River Tribe, which controls all of the waterways through Wakanda, likely facilitating the Merchant Tribe's trade. Lastly, we have the Jabari Tribe, who worship the white gorilla god. They keep to themselves in the mountains and reject progress in favor of the old ways. These tribes are joined by smaller sects like the War Dogs, who act as spies and agents across the world. These were the ones who Killmonger wanted to deploy to start his invasion. Nakia ranks among their order. There are also the priests like Zuri who watch over the temples, cultivate the heart-shaped herb, and give counsel. Then we have the Dora Milaje, or the King's Guard, who are an elite squad of female soldiers trained to give everything for their king. The true depth of their loyalty is shown by Okoye, who refuses to turn against her oath, even though she knew that Killmonger was evil. He was still her king. In the comics, Wakanda is protected by a lush, untamed jungle and mountains that appear to be impassable by those who do not know the path through them. These geographical factors are what keep Wakanda isolated from the rest of the world. That being said, Wakanda has frequently been invaded across its history. In the old days of Wakanda, no army ever conquered the land. The Wakandans would brutally slaughter any army that dared attack them. They would only leave one soldier alive to run home and tell the tale. During World War II, Wakanda was discovered by a soldier for Germany known as Fritz Claw. His plane crashed, leaving him the only survivor to see the nation. He would go on to tell his family about what he'd seen in Wakanda, inspiring his son Ulysses Claw to dedicate his life to its treasures. The Germans again attempted to invade Wakanda. This time, the Black Panther was joined by none other than Captain America, who fought alongside him and helped him defeat Baron Strucker and the German super soldiers. The invasion failed, and Captain America left on friendly terms with the Wakandans. This is how Wakanda would remain until years later, where it would come into other nations from across Earth and even the stars. In the MCU version of these events, the Wakandans didn't merely rely on the terrain to hide themselves from the rest of the world. They employed a complex holographic system that hid their very existence. It's unclear if they used some sort of magic or simply the terrain before Wakanda developed holographic technology. This allowed Wakanda to hide itself from colonialism and war that was raging throughout the world. Wakanda's isolationist ideals kept them from conquering or helping the people around them. It also allowed them to develop without much fear from their neighbors. The internal workings of this Wakanda remain the same. It features the same tribes, even allowing any of them to take power from the Panther tribe through ritualistic combat meant to procure the greatest warrior as a king. This shows that despite Wakanda's technological advances, they still rigorously keep to tradition in their political structure. The rest of the world knew of Wakanda's existence but simply believed the nation to be a small, impoverished agrarian society. It seems as if only traders and thieves were aware of Wakanda's true nature, though that would all change forever in the 21st century. King T'Chaka of Wakanda kept to his family's long-held isolationist ways. He kept his nation's true secret, but opened more trade of small amounts of Vibranium. He also sent many of Wakanda's best and brightest to study abroad to learn the wisdom from the rest of the world. His decision to creep open the door to the rest of the world was met with harsh punishment. Ulysses Claw was dispatched to take out T'Chaka, ending his reign. His son T'Challa would become the new Black Panther. T'Challa would continue his father's work, slowly opening the nation up to the rest of the world. His method of doing so was new, however. He used the Black Panther persona to become like the superheroes of America, even joining the Avengers. Unfortunately, this also led to conflicts with the rest of the world. T'Challa's first international challenge came from their neighbor nation, Uganda. Convinced by Claw to act, this nation sought to conquer Wakanda. Like all others before it, Uganda failed. Next came an invasion from another world. As part of the Skrull invasion of the planet Earth, a large force was sent to take over Wakanda. Despite the force of such an advanced culture, the Wakandan army met it in force and sent their ships back, piled with dead bodies and warnings written in blood. It was Dr. Doom of Latveria who manipulated the xenophobic Wakandans known as the Dasturi who finally did conquer Wakanda. This Doom War lasted for a brief time, culminating in King T'Challa overthrowing Doom and retaking the nation. The nation would be marked by several more wars, including one with Atlantis, one with the Mad Titan Thanos, and one with the Dark Elves, known as the War of the Realms. The MCU version of these events follows a very similar path. King T'Chaka, after the destruction of a Wakandan embassy, decides that the nation should take a more active role in the world. Before he can list out his proposal, he is struck down seemingly by an assassin known as the Winter Soldier. This leads to T'Challa revealing himself as the Black Panther to the world for the first time. He uncovers the secrets behind the plot and returns home. As he gains the throne, he is challenged by Eric Killmonger, who shows him the failings of Wakanda. This causes T'Challa to start a new, more open path for Wakanda that unfortunately leads to tragedy. T'Challa volunteers Wakanda to be the first line of defense against the Mad Titan Thanos' invasion of Earth for the Infinity Stones. This defense ultimately proves to be a failure that results in the eradication of half of all life in the universe, including T'Challa and his sister Shuri. 5 years later, it is unknown what the state of Wakanda is. T'Challa and Shuri are brought back using the stones and finally defeat Thanos with a large Wakandan army united with other heroes. The tragic death of Chadwick Boseman likely means that we will never see what T'Challa would have done next with Wakanda. We can make some guesses based on the comic history though. If Shuri becomes queen, there will likely be a push from the people to return to rigid isolationism. The small steps T'Challa made will likely be seen as what invited Thanos' army to ravage Wakanda. Shuri will likely reject these ideas, possibly leading to the same kind of unrest we see in the comics. Regardless of the state Wakanda is in, it is undeniable that the next chapter of its history will be a memorable one. Well, there you have it, the rich and vibrant history of Wakanda. What do you think the future holds for this nation in both the comics and the MCU? Let us know in the comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to CBR.